Terrific. Well, fishing tails are indeed a long-standing tradition in the tall tail family. Are there folks here who like to fish? Yes, 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 yes. And those of us who like to fish, we usually can remember where we caught our first fish. I certainly remember where I caught my first fish, and it was all thanks to my grandma. I was 8 years old. I was visiting Grandma in Denver, Colorado. My uncles were going fishing. I really wanted to go, but they wouldn't take me. Oh no, my uncle said. Little thing like you, take you up there in the Rocky Mountains? Why, if you hooked one of those Rocky Mountain trout, they are so strong. They would yank you off your feet, pull you into the current. We would never see you again. I was skeptical, even though I was too young to know what the word meant. This was the same uncle who the year before had terrified me during our family campout with tales of the camp robber bird. Oh, beware the camp robber bird, my uncle had told me. It's big as an eagle, black as a crow, orange eyes, yellow claws, and it swoops down out of the trees and grabs up little children from right beside their tents, carries them off, never to be seen again. The next morning, it took my mother 10 minutes to convince me to come out of the tent. So I knew my uncle was not telling me the truth, and I knew that the real reason he didn't want to take me fishing was not because I was too little. It was because I was a girl. And my grandma knew it too. Well, if you fellas aren't going to take her, I'll take her myself. Huh, said my uncle. What's that mean? Said my grandma. Never seen you catch a fish. You seen me clean plenty of them. Cleaning isn't catching. And then he saw the look on Grandma's face and was smart enough to say no more. You go get me a fishing pole, Grandma said to my uncle. You, pointing to me, get your coat. We're going up to the mountains, we're going to catch ourselves a fish, and your uncle's going to clean it for us. Next thing I know, I am beside Grandma in her VW Bug, and we are speeding up to the Rocky Mountains, and I mean speeding. My grandma learned to drive when she was 60 years old, and it made the impression on her that the speed limit was whatever your age was at the time. By the summer that I'm talking about, she was 78. We got to the fishing hole in no time. Okay, Grandma, should I dig some worms? No, said Grandma. She unsnapped the black purse that always hung from her elbow, and she pulled out a little can of Vienna sausages. We're going to use these, she said. I don't know any critter that won't eat one of these. At least once. Okay, Grandma. So she helped me get it on the hook. She helped me get the line out in the water. Okay, Grandma. I'm fishing. What do we do now? We sit around and wait, Grandma said. That's why your uncles like to fish. But Grandma was not one to sit idle. She opened her purse again. She pulled out her tatting. My grandma used to tat lace. So she used two little, they look like little mini crochet hooks, but they're made out of metal. And a piece of lustrous twine, looked like beautiful, shiny kite string. And Grandma tatted as fast as she drove. She was a speed tatter. So she sat there and you could almost see the doily take shape before your eyes. So Grandma's tatting, I've got my line in the water, the sun's sparkling off the Rocky Mountain stream. I'm thinking this fishing thing is a pretty good deal. And then I felt that feeling on the back of my neck, like you get when you know somebody's watching you. And I look over my shoulder, and right behind us, at the base of the mountain that goes up further, there's a little mountain goat. Little tiny mountain goat. He's just at the base of the trail. And he's, sure enough, watching us. And his little ears are kind of perked up around his little horns. I said, Grandma, Grandma, look. Grandma, there's about, whoa, Grandma, I've got something. Okay, don't panic, Grandma said. She's getting up. She said, slow and steady, easy does it. But that, whatever it was on the other end of the hook, it yanked me so hard, I was pulled off my feet. I was flying right toward the current. When I felt something grab my ankles, it was Grandma to the rescue. So now we had a tug of Ann. Grandma's got me by the ankles. That fish wants to get off that hook, and I am not going to let go of that fishing pole. Whoa, 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 whoa. I think I grew an extra couple of inches that day. And And then Grandma gives a yank, like superhuman strength, like when people lift cars off babies. She gives this yank, and I flew back against her. We both tumbled on the bank. The fish flew up, up, up in the air. The hook came free from its mouth, and that fish lodged tail first between the horns of that mountain goat. And we all had a moment. Me, Grandma, the fish, the mountain goat. That's our fish! Grandma yelled, and that mountain goat took off with me and Grandma right behind it. Now you might be thinking, what chance do an 8-year-old girl and a 78-year-old woman have of catching a mountain goat? But you may have heard of this kind of mountain goat before. It's a very special breed, very rare. They live high, high, high up in the hills, and they've spent so many generations going around those steep cliffs. I see we have people who have heard of these goats, that their legs have evolved to be longer on one side than the other, so they can keep their balance. Now, there are some people who greatly exaggerate this. They will have you believe that the legs of the goats are like a foot different in length, which is ridiculous. It's about 1.5 inches, just enough that when Grandma scared that goat and it turned around and started to run, it got discombobulated, so it was running in the wrong direction. With its long legs up against the mountain and its short legs down against the trail, it wasn't had the fish lodged between its horns, so that goat was not making much progress. Just as Grandma and I were just about to be upon it, that goat stopped short. The fish flew out of the goat's horns, right into the reason the goat had stopped, which was a grizzly bear. Standing up on its hind legs, picking berries. That fish slammed into that bear's chest. The bear just reflexively caught the fish. Dinner, it thought to itself, and we had a moment. Me, Grandma, the bear, the fish, the goat. And then Grandma said, "That's our fish!" The goat took off the way it came. The bear turned around, started to run, me and Grandma right behind the bear, but the bear was making time. It had that fish up against its chest with one paw, and it was parting the branches with the other paw. It was like a fullback just going down the field. Grandma, we're gonna lose it! And then I saw the trees were thinning out ahead of us. Grandma, we gotta do something. She did not miss a beat. She reached back. She threw her purse through the air. It nailed that bear in the back of the head. The bear dropped like a stone right on the edge of the clearing. The fish flew out of the bear's paws and went up, 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 up. And then something swooped out of the trees. Big as an eagle, black as a crow, orange eyes, yellow claws. Camp robber bird, Grandma! I cried. It was a good thing I wasn't the first thing to set foot in that clearing. The camp robber grabbed the fish and started to fly away. Grandma didn't miss a beat. She leaned down where her tatting had spilled out beside the comatose bear, grabbed that tatting, threw it up in the air, like a lace frisbee, steel needles flashing in the sun. That camp robber flew right into it like a bird into the net, and it struggled to free itself. It lost its grip on the fish. Fish fell down, 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 right into my waiting arms. And that's how